What is up, everybody, to the nations worldwide? This is the Travel Couple Podcast, where we introduce you to couple travelers who offer their advice on how you can travel the world together while earning money, living that digital nomad lifestyle. We're your hosts, Mike Pletz and
Natalie.
Tune in every Wednesday as we interview couples living a digital nomad lifestyle, traveling the world together while earning an income. Get relationship advice about being on the road with your significant other. Listen how others struggle and thrive in their personal and business lives while traveling the world. This is your one-stop podcast for travel, relationship, and business goals. I wanted to take this episode to do two things: introduce the show and let you get to know about us. Let you get to know about us and our travels together. But to preface this, I just wanted to say to those listening right now, thank you. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to the Travel Couple Podcast. Our goal with this podcast is to inspire couples around the world to make travel a lifestyle. If you're interested, the best way you can support us is to go to iTunes, hit the subscribe button, download some episodes, and leave us a review. Now, whether you are working a 9-to-5 job and you are content but want ways to incorporate more travel into your lives, or you are looking for a way to travel the world and earn some money to fund your travels, we have what you need here. Our interviews will have 3 parts to it after the introduction of the couple we interview. Part 1 is all questions based on travel. For example, where the couple was last, where they are going in the future, their favorite destinations together, and of course, their most embarrassing travel experience together. Part 2 is all about relationships while on the road. Traveling affects relationships in different ways, and we want to hear from travel couples how it has affected them and for them to provide relationship advice to travel couples everywhere. And finally, part 3, we dive into how they are trying to make travel a lifestyle, from tips on starting a business and obtaining clients, all the way to starting a blog, learning photography and videography, to finding a remote job so you can become location independent and work from anywhere. This is what you can expect from the Travel Couple Podcast, but the best way for you to understand is to just continue to listen. Up next, we're going to let you know a bit about ourselves by answering the questions we will be asking travel couples in the future interviews. In today's episode, we're going to let you guys get to know us a little bit better. We're going to go through the questions that we would normally ask other travel couples from around the world that you're going to be hearing right here on this podcast. So to get started here, whether I ask the question or Natalie asks the question, it is intended for the two of us, however we want to respond to that. So to get started, why travel for the two of us?
I think there are many factors and many things that makes you feel
the need to travel?
Makes you feel
drawn to traveling?
I don't know, make your heart pumped, and you can really be yourself, and you just love the fact that you travel around the world.
Right. So what do you like about traveling?
First of all, the fact that we can meet a lot of people from all around the world. And also, I love the fact that we are exposed to the environment that we've never been. And, those are the learning points for us. And that kind of really expand our knowledge. And that also allows us to broaden our perspectives toward people and toward objects or toward something. Anything, So, yeah. Because of those reasons.
I agree. Very nice. So, getting into this first part of our interview where we after we get to know a couple, we talk about travel in general to them. So we try to get a sense of where they have been, where they are, and what kind of travelers they are. So to start off with, where were we last? Where are we now? And where are we traveling to next?
So, before we became a couple, I traveled a lot of countries like Southeast Asia and also United States and Canada, and also where have I been?
but what about us? Where were we last?
So that was when I was single, but after we became a couple and married couple, we traveled together. Where have we been?
We went to
Kunming,
China.
Yes, Kunming.
Nepal.
And
Japan.
to Japan
for a day.
For a day, yes. That was a stopover. Yes.
That was an interesting experience.
Mm-hmm.
And after, we were really meant to go to Hawaii during the trip.
Yes. And because of the flight delay.
Flight emergency landing. Yeah, we spent the day in Narita, Japan.
Yes.
Where else did we go after?
After that, before we left Seoul permanently, we've been to South Africa, which was really, really, really one of my wish lists. And we traveled Africa,
Morocco, yeah.
And also we traveled
Portugal
and Spain. And then we flew back
to Canada.
Yes.
So that's where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
We're in Toronto, Canada.
Mm-hmm. And
for the foreseeable future, this is where we are, but we are going to continue to travel. And where are we traveling to next, do you think?
We've been always talked about like Cuba.
Yes.
And
Cuba would probably be next on our list. We also have some other thoughts.
I've never been there, but you've been there like several times. So, but we would like to look more of the city aspect and
less resorts and more of the
culture
of the
aspect.
city and
yes.
Yeah.
And we would love to travel also Peru
to see Machu Picchu. Mexico, we've thought.
Mexico, yes, for sure.
So we're actually thinking of more so
America,
South America, Caribbean area, and sticking to this side of the world, I guess, for 2018. I don't really see us going anywhere away from this side of the world for the next year. Yeah.
Now that we're in North America, we would like to
see as much of this area as we can. Especially we've both never been to South America.
Yeah. And that will be our first time ever, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what is our traveling together? What is our most rewarding travel experience?
I mean,
when did you feel the biggest sense of accomplishment or a reward from doing something during our travels, or maybe a country that we traveled to?
Because traveling South Africa was one of my huge dreams, and that really came true last year when we traveled South Africa. I would say like being exposed to a lot of natures and animals, wild animals, and native Africans. I felt that was the most rewarding moment, and that was the most rewarding experience, because I've been grown up in a big city, Seoul, Korea, and it's surrounded by a lot of high buildings or lots of restaurants or cafes, right? But traveling Cape Town and also South Africa, I would say that was one of the most rewarding traveling experiences.
Yeah, I'd say South Africa was really high on both of our bucket lists. And to cross that off together was a really rewarding experience. And the largest sense of accomplishment of something that we were able to accomplish together, I would say probably climbing Table Mountain.
Yes.
Would you agree?
Yes. There were 2 moments that I feel like, oh, this is it. If I miss one step, then this is it. This is the end of our lives. Like,
so there is a story behind this. We did, my fault. I led us up the wrong route up Table Mountain, which turned out to be one of the most hardest routes.
Yes, most challenging routes.
Most challenging routes, according to our Airbnb host. And we climbed a really, it was like free climbing at some points. So it was fairly terrifying, especially if you're not used to that sort of thing, which we both aren't. And
there's no road. There's no
there's no path.
Yeah, there's no path that we can really walk along. It was more like really steep mountain. If you miss one step, then you'll definitely fall over, and then that's the end of the story, really. Really.
So being able to accomplish that together was, at the time was not...
I don't really want to think about that specific particular moment, really.
But afterwards, we felt like we accomplished something for sure.
Yes, for sure. After we
completed
it. Yeah.
So, what is our most awkward, embarrassing, or hilarious travel experience together? One comes to mind to me. When we were together in Nepal, we were going hiking for the day. And this was just after sunrise. We watched the sunrise from the Sarankat mountain, and we were taken from a taxi driver with our guide to a certain spot where we continue hiking for the rest of the day. And I had to go to the bathroom, and
yeah, we needed to drop by one of the houses, and the old lady
was not too impressed.
Yes, was not really impressed, and luckily I prepared some toilet papers in my pockets.
Luckily, because there was none on hand there, and
in the bathroom.
In the bathroom, which was a hole in the ground, really.
And then after you did your own business, the lady found you out, and then
she started shooing me away. She really didn't like that we used her bathroom. So that I'd say that tops the list of probably the most embarrassing or awkward experience, especially with a local. That's for sure. Another time in Nepal, I ran into a cow. Do you remember that? Just walking down the sidewalk, and then there was a cow in our way all of a sudden. So, yeah, I'd say those top are probably most awkward or embarrassing.
Because we're from city, right?
So, what is our worst travel experience together?
I can't really think of any the worst moment or the worst travel, because every trip was really precious, and every country has their own uniqueness, and every moment was really cherishable.
Yeah, I'd say if you do have, you will have these bad moments in travel, but if you have them and you're with your significant other, then just roll with them and work together to get past them, and don't let it ruin the rest of your trip or the time together. Just focus on those memories, and when you do have those bad experiences, have them together and get past them together. So that's it, just talking about travel there. We're going to continue on to the next part of our podcast where we talk about relationships and traveling. So continuing from our talk on travel, how do you think, or how do we think traveling affects a relationship?
I would say that really makes our relationship stronger.
Definitely.
Because you'll definitely have conviction that wherever you go, and whichever the country you've been, yes.
Yeah, I'd say
you've been together, right?
Yeah, I'd say you make a lot of great memories. But also, I'd say travel, you either find out that you're extremely compatible for each other or absolutely not. And I think it was Bill Murray who said, or I think I just read it, so I don't know if Bill Murray said it. Somebody just put his name underneath it. But he said to know that you have the one, you go traveling with them
Together.
for a certain amount of time, come back and find out if you know after that trip that they're still the one, then they are the one for you. So I think that's really interesting advice.
Because the whole atmosphere and all the environment would be changed, and regardless and no matter what, if you feel that that traveling together would make your relationship stronger, then that's the one, right?
Yes. So when planning a trip, who takes care of what?
I would say I would take care of a lot of restaurants.
Yes,
So
for
I
sure.
Google any recommendable restaurants or places to go. I mean, for eating.
Natalie does an awesome job of that, finding the right places to go.
To eat and to drink.
For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and maybe some snacks in between.
And a cafe.
In cafes, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'd say I'd be the one who does the driving, the navigation, gets us from place to place.
Because you have a good sense of direction, whereas I'm not.
And planning a trip, I'd say we kind of decide where to go together, knowing what we both are interested in and going from there. Booking hotels, booking flights. Normally we just do that together.
Together, yes.
Yeah. Especially finding the right Airbnb can be definitely a decision that you both want to make. And if you can't find that Airbnb, then maybe going to a hotel. But I'd say we always start with Airbnbs first, just for the cost of that. Hotels every once in a while, but yeah, definitely if you're doing a long trip, you want to keep the cost down of accommodation and find the right place.
Yes, it's cost effective, and compared to the price, the quality is good, and like overall our experiences in Airbnb was great, right?
Yeah, I'd say we haven't had a negative experience really. It's always been good or amazing. So it's never been really anything but that.
And speaking of Airbnb, I am reminded of the couple in Port Elizabeth in South Africa.
Yeah, I'd say they made the biggest impression on us. Sometimes you don't meet your host at Airbnbs, but
they were so nice.
They were incredible. So we just a backstory to that. We had been driving for 5 hours to try to find their place, couldn't find their place, tried calling them. Finally, just before sunset, we found their place. And
their house looks amazing.
Yeah, their house was like a cabin in the woods, basically.
Looked amazing.
Yeah.
I've never seen any house like that.
And then for the rest of that night, we just basically spent the night talking to them about their country, about
we
politics,
had some wine and cheese.
Life. Yeah, it was. I'd say they definitely made the longest impression on us throughout our travels.
And also, you took the picture of the stars.
Yes, yeah. So Airbnb is not just about saving costs, but also it's about making those connections with other people, which is part of what travel is all about. Yeah. So what about the best destination that we've been to for couples? Which do you think?
I would say...
This also depends exactly what couples are into. I mean, we've been to Nepal, and if you are into hiking, both you and your significant other, then maybe Nepal is the place you want to go. But in your opinion, or in our opinion... best place for a couple to travel that we've been
together. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Spain.
Hawaii.
Okay, I didn't expect.
Because we've been there 3 or 4 times. I think 4 times, and we've been to different islands. And as a couple, anything can't go wrong, considering the wonderful sceneries out there in every island.
Yeah, I'd say...
and the convenience of it, and the food, and people. to any of the couple, to all couples actually, I would say Hawaii is one of the fantastic destinations that every couple should check.
Yeah, and Hawaii didn't come to mind right away for me. But now that you say that, I'd say, yeah, Hawaii really does have something for everybody. Whether it's going on a hike, appreciating nature, going to the beach. Hawaii
Cultural
really does
aspect
have it
too.
all. Yeah, a cultural aspect, history. It is really an incredible place to go.
Great combination of everything, right? Spain, yes, I loved it, especially the Barcelona and Madrid. But some people might love it and some people might not like it, depending on the area. So the touristy areas, people would definitely love it. But outside of the touristy area, I don't know. So that's why I mentioned about Hawaii.
Right. So yeah, Spain is more so for a specific type of person, whereas what you're saying is Hawaii really. I think because of how small it is and it's easy to get around. It's really easy to incorporate so much into one day that does appeal to anybody.
And yes, but I would like to recommend Spain and Hawaii, both countries. But Hawaii can't go wrong with any of the couple. Any couple.
Yeah. So do we have any advice we'd want to give to couple travelers out there?
If you're young, I would strongly recommend you guys to travel as many countries as possible, because those are the periods that your scope of knowledge or the heart that you can accommodate or you can accept, and the scope of diversities that you can accept or acknowledge. So I would like to strongly recommend the young couples especially to travel as many countries as possible when you're younger. And for those older people, of course, leave the kids and travel. Right?
Get a break from the kids and go pack up your bags. And
you deserve that before you get too old. And
experienced in years. Yeah, not old. But yeah, I think traveling as a couple when you're young has its definitely benefits, and just like we said before, rolling with whatever happens on your trip, just making memories together. But you'll definitely get the most out of it, in our opinion, when you're younger and experiencing travel.
And also before you have kids, right? Because we don't have any kids as of now, but we heard, from a lot of couples before you have babies. It only gets
more difficult as you get older.
So
as you become more experienced in years, it only gets harder to travel. Once you have kids, and then they have grandkids eventually. So that's travel when you're young. So moving on to our final part of this discussion, we talk more so about living a digital nomad lifestyle, which is about being location independent, striving to live without having to work a 9 to 5, and being able to incorporate travel as a lifestyle. We haven't accomplished this at this point in time, but this is a goal, I would say, that we are able to have travel become more of our lifestyle. And in doing so, we have created To the Nations Worldwide, which is a travel blog. We have lots of social media channels. With this podcast, we're launching. So just going through the history of this, where did this travel blog come from? Who decided to do a travel blog? Have you always wanted to do a travel blog?
My hubby always wanted to.
So I guess it was more so my idea to start a blog, and it started more so as a travel website. I had an idea to and you still can through To the Nations Worldwide create your own personal travel map where you document your travels by adding a marker and adding photos to that marker, and people can click on that marker and see your photos, see your videos, see like a mini blog post that you can write in there as well. That's how To the Nations Worldwide started, and then with both of our love of travel and photography too, we both love to take pictures. I also wanted to start documenting that more. Natalie's more into Facebook, I'd say, for documenting her journey, her travels.
I'm more into taking pictures of us, and also at the same time, of course, the beautiful sceneries, but it's more of us. And
so that's where we really complement each other. Is Natalie loves to take the photos of us, and I like to take the photos of the landscape. So between the two of us, we really have a good collection of photos to remember the moments. And so that's why the travel blog started, I guess, to be able to showcase that. Once we got going with the travel blog, I started to branch out into social media, learning how to grow a following, which we're still working on and constantly learning about, growing our following with Instagram, Twitter, email marketing, all types of social media. And it's something that, driving traffic, campaigns, contests, something that we're always continually learning about. And something that I want to start passing on my knowledge and creating content that will be available to you on To the Nations Worldwide and everything like that. So, is there any other advice you want to give a couple travelers out there about travel, saving for travel, incorporating travel into their lifestyle?
When you have free time, I would like you to recommend to work as part-time or contractor or a temp, and save as much money as possible so that you can travel with no burden financially. And life is short, so I would like to recommend to take as many opportunities as possible to travel and see the world, and do not worry about money as long as you have some monies to save. So travel.
I agree. So basically what this podcast is about is it's inspiring couples to start making travel a part of their lifestyle through being inspired by other couples that are traveling, other couples that are strengthening their relationship through travel, and also finding that job or creating your own business that allows you to incorporate travel more into your lifestyle. So that's why this podcast is going to focus on providing you with resources that to look for that remote job, to look for that job that allows you to incorporate travel into your lifestyle, or even building your own business from a blog, from a website, or any services that you can offer the world. So this is what the podcast is going to focus on. We hope that you guys can join us for more. And that is it. That is me and Natalie of To the Nations Worldwide sharing our travel stories today with you on the To the Nations Worldwide Travel Couple podcast. You can check us out at www.podcast.tothenationsworldwide.com. And you're always free to contact us at contact@tothenationsworldwide.com. You can reach out to any of our social channels, which you'll find linked into this page. And thank you, everybody. Happy travels.
We love you.
Thank you to all of our listeners out there To the Nations Worldwide. We cannot express our appreciation enough. Visit us at podcast.tothenationsworldwide.com/EP0. That stands for episode 0 to view the show notes for this particular episode. Leave a comment on the page and we'll be sure to get back to you. If you would be so kind, please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. We'll make sure to consistently deliver you valuable information about the world of travel. This is Mike Pletz and
Natalie,
hoping you have a wonderful adventure To the Nations Worldwide.